Hi, my name is Malcdolm Doney, truth seeker, entrepreneur, constitutional expert, freedom and justice advocate, founder of the Hanging Together for Justice Foundation, and author of the Bankster Busters Bible. This short video is to promote the 2014 edition of the Bankster Busters Bible, the only comprehensive educational book which not only exposes how this huge Ponzi scheme was conceived and implemented, but is also a guide to fighting back, compiled from my own personal experiences over 6 long and eventful years. I wrote this book to help people in foreclosure to stay in their homes and fight, to help people to save money to fund that fight, to educate foreclosure victims and everyone who cares about justice and the United States Constitution. There is a wider purpose to this book than fighting fraudulent banksters. It exposes the tools of corruption used against the people for the benefit of the banksters, the corporations, and their government puppets. Their joint propaganda machine works to fill the equivalent of our brain's hard disk, our unconscious memory, located right here at the base of the skull, where every possible thing that ever happened to you from the moment you were born and got into your brain through any of your senses is permanently recorded. It is there where constantly repeated lies take on the appearance of truth, and I teach you how to balance those lies with real truths. My personal education, fields of endeavor, and life's experiences are very widely based, including working in government in the UK, starting and running what became the biggest government-funded charity providing homes for severely handicapped people, to a successful entrepreneur in financial, corporate, and estate planning, money management, and investments. During the early days of gathering my evidence to fight the banksters in March 2009, I agreed to accompany a friend who was fighting foreclosure so that he had a witness to the events that would transpire in the courtroom. I was totally unprepared for the shocking events I witnessed that afternoon. I saw packed public benches, hundreds of people of all ages and ethnic backgrounds blocking the corridors outside the courtroom. We managed to fight our way into the courtroom, where a bailiff was instructing these foreclosure fraud victims on what was about to happen. He gleefully approached the bar and with a huge grin on his face said, "You all need to move along and move up closer to one another to get more people into this courtroom. It's going to be very busy this afternoon. We got through 500 cases this morning and we're going to get through another 500 this afternoon. And if any of you starts talking when the judge is in the court, you will be removed from the courtroom and may miss your case." He then instructed them that when their case number was called, they must rise and walk towards a microphone at the bar. As each person's case number was called after the judge came into that courtroom and they walked towards the microphone, the judge said, "Are you Jane Doe?" or whatever the person's name happened to be. And they responded, "Yes, Your Honor." The second question, just as they got to the microphone, was, "Are you behind with your mortgage?" "Yes, Your Honor." He then said, "Then you have 30 or 60 days to work it out with your lender, or your home would be sold, depending upon whether or not you were living in the property or not." That day, the victim list amounted to 1,000 hapless families who had no idea how they could possibly defend themselves against these frauds. Upon leaving the court that day, I phoned my wife on my cell phone, and I said, I just cannot believe what I have witnessed today here in the United States of America. It brings back chilling childhood memories of Hitler's political sham show trials that I witnessed so many times. Right there and then, I vowed to fight this major fraud and to educate as many of my fellow Americans to learn with me how they could fight the banksters and Florida's corrupted courts of injustice. As my grandmother used to say, self-praise is no recommendation. So listen to these words from a person who wrote the following testimonial to help me promote the sale of this book.
My husband and I first met Malcolm in April 2009 when he witnessed an unelected judge violate the law and rules of court from the bench and unlawfully grant summary judgments to banksters, effectively ensuring that those homes were stolen from their lawful owners in what we now know to be the biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of the world. Months later, at a hearing to set aside one of those fraudulent orders to sell our homestead for the benefit of the bankster before the assigned judge, Malcolm appeared as an expert witness. We were in a small courtroom where our attorney, the plaintiff's attorney, one fully armed bailiff, and one member of court staff were present. Immediately after Malcolm and one other person entered the courtroom, I witnessed the court bailiff speak into a microphone, and 16 fully armed bailiffs swarmed into that little courtroom. Malcolm is a true patriot. Now in his 79th year, he and his wife Valerie are givers. He is a brave truth seeker, educator, and advocate for freedom and justice. He and his wife Valerie have fought 6 fraudulent foreclosures on properties owned by them in a hostile and intimidating court, and all without an attorney. Nobody can claim more knowledge about the banksters, their attorneys, and judges in the state of Florida's crimes against the people. His book is a must-read for all true Americans who care about their country, whether or not they have been, or are unlikely to be the victims of fraudulent foreclosure actions against them by banksters.
My expertise is not limited to simply investigating how and why the Ponzi scheme was set up and implemented, but includes thousands of hours of days of reading and researching other people's books and reliable internet sources, of drafting and filing my own legal documents, investigating and analyzing individual bank frauds in our own cases, for those people who commissioned us to compile witness affidavits for them, and knowledge acquired through the Hanging Together for Justice Foundation whenever it conducts essential research into bankster frauds and compiles reports on its findings. I sincerely believe that the Bankster Busters Bible is essential reading for all people who treasure their freedoms and the U.S. Constitution. To get your own online copy for the small outlay of $24.97, and to benefit from additional free information in the form of simple to understand PowerPoint presentations, please press the Buy Now button to proceed to your shopping cart. Just enter your email address to be reading this book by immediate download. Would you like to have the book but would like to spend less than $24.97? It is available for less on a number of tablets where you can read but cannot download your own copy. Or if you're interested in getting your own copy and accept my recommendation to pay $250 for a guide to lawsuits compiled by a Florida attorney that helped me to understand the legal process, you could receive your own downloaded copy for just $9.95. Of course, I receive a commission from those sales, but I never recommend my product to anyone that I did not buy myself and being completely satisfied with the promises made by its vendor. Thank you for listening to this book launch video, the first in a planned series of educational videos designed to get America back to the Constitution. And if you decide to buy the book, please enjoy it and learn all you can from it with my very, very best wishes. And thank you again.
This video has been brought to you by Cane Dog Productions, alongside Air Dog Fuel Preparators and the Hanging Together for Justice Foundation.